just a few minutes before 9 o'clock. So I'm going to give this just a minute to go live and see if anyone shows up. It's been a week and 3 days, I guess, since I've been live. Was very sick and thought I was just having a bad flare, which I was having a bad flare, but one very important thing about the flare I thought I was having was that the lactic acid caused by the flare almost caused me to have a heart attack. You live and you learn. I've learned a lot in the last 10 days. A lot of it I'd rather have never been put in the position to have to know. Hi, Denise. I'm glad to be back. I missed you. This is the first evening I felt like just really coming on and saying, hi, I'm kicking, I'm still here. And I wanted to say hello. And I know you all have been sending me good energy. And I bounced back once they figured out what was going on. I bounced back really well, but I have been just inundated with learning how to handle this new issue, which, if anyone doesn't know, last week ago, Monday morning, I popped on here because I had gotten very ill Sunday. I had received some very bad news from, I had received some very bad / inappropriate news and behavior from people that should have loved me enough to handle things better and chose not to. And it sent me into immediate flare, which was one of the worst flares that had ever started that quick. I locked down, my jaws locked down, swelled, my neck muscles, my shoulder. I was locked basically from kneecaps up, my muscle groups were frozen. And because I'd been on the verge of flare for a couple months and had been kind of in a very stressful state for a couple months, I already had lactic acid built up in my muscles. So this flare and this frozen muscle mega flare dumped so much lactic acid in my system that I ended up with lactic acidosis, which makes you very sick, and it can be lethal. And I had a toxic amount in me, and honestly should have had a massive heart attack and not be here today. So when I did the Monday thing, I was on my way fixing to go to the doctor. We did not know at that time that it was that bad. I just thought I was having a mega flare, and I anticipated being admitted into the hospital and you all not seeing me for a week or two. Did not know it was that bad. Then you find out how bad it is, and you wonder, gee, how much am I meant to go through? And I don't think we're meant to know that as human beings, or we would give up immediately. But I learned a lot the last week and a half, and I got put on bed rest because we don't have a local hospital, and my doctor, if I get admitted elsewhere, unless it's Nashville or Knoxville, my specialist can't oversee my care unless, because they don't have any admitting power authority. And so we tackled it with seeking home health and daily blood work, injections. Luckily, they have a lot of medications that can stop the hormone production that helps your body like swell. So if you stop that hormone production, your body, the swelling reduces and slows down. And then there was medication to help the lactic acid purge quickly. I just had to stay in a very docile state and calm. So I've pretty much been in bed and not doing very much at all. And you reflect and you think, and being the person I am, I always think, okay, well, when I was given this very inappropriately timed and stated blurb that someone chose to give me. You know, it's not like I'm not handling enough at Christmas already with my health and struggling with hoping that I can be up and join in. And last year at this time, I lost my best friend of like 35 years. And I've got another dear friend going through a massive health crisis right now. And I'm trying to, there's a lot going on. But I'm here to tell you guys, I learned a lot, and there's no nice way to say it, but for people that really want to hurt you, holidays and times of seasons of what should be joy, because there's such emotionally charged time frames, those are the times that they'll go for every time. That's when they'll target and put you on that list and go after you, because that's the easiest time, because you're emotionally raw. You're open to good experiences, but it also means you're open and they can sneak in bad experiences. And because you're emotionally charged, it will hit you differently. It will hit you and have more of an impact. And it's just really a nasty thought to think that anyone would turn this time of year into a negative thing. Especially if you're, a Bible believer and you understand the importance of the symbolism, even if we skew the calendar to celebrate it, but it's just really an odd, for the last few years, Christmas has just been an absolute crap show in my home. And it used to be like one of the happiest times. And one thing can toss the balance. And because I'm always the person that is like, okay, but let's show kindness. Okay, but let's look at this with grace. Okay, but let's show compassion first. Okay, but they can make a better decision if they learn from this event. And I've said a lot of okay buts in the last few years. And I realize now I shouldn't have said those. I should have said, well, sorry, but that doesn't concern me. Well, sorry, but this is my house and my rules. Well, sorry, but if you don't enjoy being part of my world, you shouldn't be here. I responded too graciously. I responded too kindly. And I think for that reason, I was seen as a weak person. And I'm not a weak person. I just genuinely try to have a calm, happy life and existence. I have boundaries, and I have emotions and attitudes and can blow a gasket like everyone else, but I really try really hard not to. But it was really quiet. My doctor was just like, do not engage in anything. Do not, do not, do not. And I hadn't. I had just disconnected and was just taking care of me. And it was enough. It was a big job at the time. And I thought disconnecting was enough of a boundary. But today, someone showed up at my door. Someone that I love showed up at my door. And I was happy to see them, but they had basically been sent to give me a message by the person that I was disconnecting from for my sanity and my health. And I was just like, if I was this important, what I've been through the last 10 days would cause someone to go, oh, gee, I need to learn how to communicate that better. I need to learn how to not trigger her health. I need to maybe bring up smaller issues before they turn into larger issues, because larger issues cause her health issues. But no one was thinking about me. It was everybody was thinking about themselves. And so the whole 7 to 10 days that I had been quiet and calm and kind of trying to just be still, because I can't have my heart work up until my lactic acid levels have normalized and stayed down for a couple weeks. And then they can do the heart workup and see if there was any damage to my muscles and stuff like that, if there's any long-term stuff we're looking at from this big event that I just went through. So being calm is very important. Staying calm is very important. And so when I put up a boundary and it's breached again, and yeah, it's just like, no. And so I finally just addressed it. And I was appalled because as I sat there and tried to explain that the stress that I was under almost cost me my life, that my health does not make stressful, super stressful, super emotional issues something that I can handle very easily. And this one was a doozy. And, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to take time to let my body heal. I can't discuss this right now. I can't, but if I'm going to be like hunted to the ends of the earth, fine, here. This is how I feel. And I'd hope that maybe if there's that much effort going into it, that there was going to be a real conversation. There wasn't. I got inconsistencies again. I got the kiss your butt curves. I got told different events and different reasons for things that I've been told in different ways, and that other people in my family have been told in different ways. There's no consistency. There's not one story. There's not even a story with small variations. It's just all over the place. And I'm like, this is not something I can fix, resolve. There is no resolution. This was just the creation of crap. The creation of crap. And sometimes people do that. And you will never know why. You'll never know why. They'll sit in front of you 3 days prior and everything's fine. And then they'll send you this horrible message that makes you out to be Satan. And you're just like, you were just in front of me 3 days ago. Why didn't you bring this up? And then, when you try to clear the air, you find out that, but this, they have more that goes back for years that they also want to discuss. And that, y'all, that's just kind of where I had to go, whoop, no. Anybody running their life keeping a tab, anyone running a life keeping a tab is not anyone that's in your life for any of the right reasons. I do lots of things for lots of people. And if I'm able, I don't mind to do it because I love them. And I'm just like, I'm glad I was able to help. Let's just go on. Let's move forward. I'm certainly not going to say, and when it's beneficial, also let me sit you down and remind you of every time I've helped you so that you feel indentured to me. It's just like, no, we're family. When we can help each other, we help each other. That's what we do. But I was just kind of blindsided and just kind of taken aback. And I knew that at that point, it was just a power flex. It was something had gone wrong. Something had happened. Something had hit them the wrong way. And I was the target it was being taken out on. And if it's not me, it's going to be someone else. So public service announcements, anyone that's related to me that lives in this small area, keep your eyes open. Go ahead and put some money on your 6 because I'm no longer a target. Be careful, you might just be the next one. But I sat there for the last week and a half and I've thought about that thing that I saw my friend post on Facebook that said, if I were to die today, what is the last thing you would remember about me? And I thought, what would people remember about me? When I have all these people that call and check in with me, call and thank me for helping them through some of the worst times of their life, call and tell me, I've had 3 people call me this month and be like, I'm 10, 18, 24 months sober because of you, Miss Liz. Thank you. You know, if I hadn't met you, I would probably still be in prison or in the ground. Thank you. You know, this is a time of year where people give thanks and they reflect on positivity and they reach out to people that have really touched their lives. And I've been blessed to receive some just wonderful phone calls. And I'm tickled to death to hear that each and every one of them are doing great. And I know that for each one that's doing great, I probably have, 2 dozen that didn't do great. The ratio in that when I was a parole officer, that's just it's a hard job and a hard emotional job. And you don't see a lot of people that make it. And so I was so touched with the ones that did. They wanted to reach out and say thank you. And so I was having a very positive month, and I'd even decorated, was making presents. I've given up. Screw that. I mean, not to be like I'm not out of the Christmas spirit. I'm just reining it in. You should have a return on investment when you love someone. And let's just be honest and talk about this for a minute. When you offer up love, there should be a return on investment. It's not really spoken about, and it's not really like a bartering system, but you know that when you go to the point that you do things for them and you don't even think about it, you just do it and you're happy you could do it. You don't care if it's the last penny you had to your name. If you could do it and you're happy you could do it for them, you're just happy that you were there, you could help, everything worked out, and you move forward. But that normally comes with then, if they're in a position to help you, there's a return on investment, whether it's just a hug, a pat on the back, a little pep talk. It's a return on investment. I'm not rich, I don't have a lot of money, but if I've got a nickel and you need a nickel, I'm probably going to give you a nickel. It's like today, I had another really bad dealing with that this evening, and Kim drove all the way to my house just to give me a hug. That's a friendship. That's a return on investment. We're invested in each other and each other's well-being. And when you love someone, you are invested in their well-being. You're not invested in power over them. You're not invested in their pain, sorrow, the things that hurt them. You're not invested in that. You're aware of those things, but you're invested in their happiness and the joy that they seek in life, and helping them seek that joy and doing what you can do to make their life happier, better. You volunteer your talents and the things that you shine at. And you say, let me do this for you. I'm really good at this. Let me do this for you. You're really good at that. You can do that for me. And there's this balance, this back and forth return on investment you get when you really love someone and you love them for all the right reasons. And as much as there's so many right reasons and right ways to love people, there are also that many wrong reasons and wrong ways to love people. And those are just as easily learned and adopted and taught as the good. The bad's just as easy to learn as the good. And sadly, there are a lot of people that teach the bad instead of the good. And so we've got generational issues where people have not been taught about love in an appropriate way, and families that have struggled for multiple generations that have now soured to a capacity to where they're kind of toxic to the communities in which they live. And if you talk to anyone about that family, they all go, oh yeah, I know that family. And you get the vibe, you feel the vibe, and that's sad, because it only takes one person to change that. It only takes one person to say, hey, y'all, I don't think we're doing this right, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do it this other way that looks better. And I hope it works out better for me and mine. And that one moment of bravery can change the next 50 generations of that family to where they have positive interactions and positive family relationships, and they feel love that is not from a seat of power or control. And they talk to people in open and honest words and not in like ambivalent animosity, where you're kind of going, what was that supposed to mean? And so for a week and a half, I lay there and I thought about all of these things, and I thought, What's the last thing that you would remember about me if I were to have died last weekend, when my heart should not have survived that? I'm lucky. But here's what I remember. This is what I will forever remember from the week and a half that I had to spend in bed. Because I have a disorder, an autoimmune issue that makes me very susceptible to stress. I have a lot of stress-induced issues because I have a diseased, basically, central nervous system. I don't get the right nerve impulses, and that is my central nervous system, but it also taps into my sympathetic nervous system. So if you bring me a pile of crap and you hand it to me and I have to sift through it because I'm forced to, it's going to cause a health breakdown. And that's what caused my flare and almost got me last week. And I thought, well, here's what I will forever remember from that experience. That sometimes people that say they love you and they spend a lot of time around you, they're just studying you. And sometimes the emotions that they try to make you feel are not because they want you to join in their life, or they want you to understand something they're going through, or they're wanting to share a joy or a sorrow with you and have that family connection. Sometimes the emotions that they're trying to make you feel are just a noose they're trying to get you to wear. And sometimes when they keep coming back because you didn't put on that noose, you didn't wear that emotion, you didn't take that lead, you accepted what they had to say, but you chose not to jump in and, be all about that. And they keep coming back and bringing those same emotions. It's not emotions they keep bringing back. It's just more rope. And if you are lucky enough to realize that when someone is trying to embrace you without love, they're really just measuring your neck for the next noose. And if you're lucky enough to get away from that, and you're lucky enough to realize you're using your emotions in a very inappropriate, almost lethal, very unhealthy manner, and for some reason you enjoy watching people kind of swing at the end of your emotional tether that should be your issue, but you make it someone else's. If you're lucky enough to get away from that, burn that rope and cut that damn tree down and walk away. Because the one thing I can guarantee you is that if that's happened to you more than once, it's a pattern. And if it's already a pattern in their life, it will continue, because patterns are hard to break, and it takes some really hard work, dedication, and desire to change the pattern. They have to acknowledge it, understand they're perpetuating it, understand their role within it, and then actively create ways to change that pattern. That takes a lot of work. And a lot of people think that oh, they'll do it, they'll change, they love me, they'll change, they won't want to do that to me again, they'll change. It's very hard for people to change that much, especially in an amount of time quick enough to salvage the others that are already hurting around them. Sometimes you just have to protect yourself. And that's sad. That's really sad. And I'm sure you can tell from my eyes, the last week and a half have been nothing but tears. But I realize that I am, I always come in here and preach grace and kindness and compassion. And it reaches so many people, but there are times for boundaries. And there are people that grace and compassion can't reach. And there are people that when they think that you're constantly giving them another chance, you're constantly making an excuse for their behavior, or you're constantly trying too hard because they've had a difficult life, they will see that as a weakness. and they will try to set you up for dominance and submission. And again, if you're in a loving relationship, you want a return on your investment, but you don't want dominance. You don't want power. You don't want control. You want an equal comfort, an equal care pattern, an equal show of support. You don't want to run the ship. Because you understand, if you're in a family that loves each other, everyone has a talent, everyone has a skill, everyone is beneficial. I just wasn't aware. And sometimes when you want to love somebody so much, and you want to role model and show someone what you know they've missed, and you want to you will overextend grace because you know they've never seen it before, they've never had it applied to them. They'll see that for what it is. Most people will see it as, this person's really trying, and I can probably trust this person to open up to them, and that's great, because you're gonna help a lot of people that are in bad places learn to trust again. But there's a few that will see it as a weakness, as an open door to get in and play with you and your mind and your emotions. And so, sadly, some people, when they think of love, they think of it as an apple or a pie. And once there's one piece that's been given to someone that you love, well, that's a piece of the pie that can never be put back together. Obviously, now, if they want the rest of the pie, they're short whatever you gave to that other person. How dare you love someone else? They don't understand that love is, there's a never ending supply of it. You can always make more at any moment. It just replenishes it. All you've got to do is desire its creation in your heart, and boom, there it is. So showing love to someone else doesn't mean that I only have less left for other people. That's not the way this works. Love is never ending supply that you create in your heart. So we should never be jealous that people love each other, that they have good relationships, and think that that takes away from the relationship that we have with others. You should never triangulate. Like if you have a good friend and they also have another good friend. It's like me and Kim. Me and Kim have lots of friends, and we have some that we know together, and we have some that we just know individually. But when she goes and spends time with her other friends, great, have fun. I don't know them, but tell them I said hi, have fun, have a good day. I want her to have the most fun, the best day ever. I don't want her to worry or think about me. I want her to just, it's all about her and fun and having fun with that friend and what that friend provides for her, because obviously that friend provides something I don't. That's why that friendship is there. We can't all be 100% to each other. We all are little pieces that we fill in. And that's why people need a lot of support. We all provide different things. So a healthy support system is a larger support system. So when my friend goes and visits their friend, that's great. That's awesome. She has friends that I've never met, never will meet most likely, and we've been friends for quite a while now. I don't get on the phone, introduce myself, and say, oh, by the way, I'm her best friend. And I know she was going to spend Saturday with you, but I actually wanted to do this with her Saturday. Could you move your Saturday event because I need this Saturday? And that creates tension, because now their relationship that used to be just about them has put me in it for no reason. Because if you're an adult, you can move your schedule around. You can pick another Saturday. There's no reason to do that. But it's called triangulation. Because when two people have an issue, it can be solved almost immediately. But with three or more, that's when you start getting into the issues. And that's when people start really playing control. So the more people that they have in a game, the easier the control. Why? Because the more people that's in there that's talking and gossiping and causing tension themselves, then the less likely we are to pinpoint where the problem is and repair it. It's just eternally in the fluff and the fuzz and we can't figure it out. And the more people in it in the mix, the less likely we are to all sit down and talk about it and figure it out. So that's why people like to triangulate and get more people in on it. The more people in on it, the harder it is to repair. The harder it is to repair, the longer the game will run. And the longer the game runs, the longer they have power. And I don't like that either. So I try to never put my friends in that scenario, ever. Like if you're spending time that day with that friend, then that day, that friend is your priority. Don't even think about me. You have fun. Enjoy your day. You deserve it. That's why people do that. That's why they triangulate. Now you know. So that's what I learned the last 10 days. I learned that my kind nature, although I can be an absolute hooch when I need to be, but my kind nature and my desire to kind of help people, like if I know they've struggled, then let me help you in that area. If you've lacked this in your life, let me offer you more of this. I try to find a balance. And lots of times when people are coming out of bad scenarios or bad environments, they don't always have the best behavior or the best skill sets or the best social skills, the best dialogue communication skills. And so I had made allowances, concessions, excuses. I'm not sure when it tripped over from allowances and concessions all the way to excuses, but it did. And I was actively making excuses for someone who was actively beginning to tear me down. And that is a weak spot for me. I'm too kind sometimes, and I'm too open. I think people will eventually catch on. I think that people that come from negative and bad scenarios, surely once they get out and they see a healthy representation, they won't want to then propagate and perpetuate what they came from that was negative. But sadly, some people do. So let's put this in layman's terms. If you walk through a cow pasture and you step in poop and drag it all over your living room carpet, I would hope that you then, the next time you go in the cow pasture, would miss the cow patties and not then step in another one and drag it all over your living room carpet. But sadly, some people will go straight to the cow pasture, look straight for the cow patty, step in it, not only drag it through their house, your house, the neighbor's house, whoever else's house. It's for some reason it's appealing. And while I understand the psychological components behind that, personally, I don't get it. Because I'm like, if you can bring happiness and joy to people, why would you ever choose to only bring sadness or trouble or strife or drama? Why? Why would that be your choice? And if you've been in people's lives long enough that they discern a pattern and that pattern is negative and they speak up about that pattern, it's because they love you. And they've identified something that they believe could harm you. People that have perpetual patterns of negativity, there may be a fork in the road, but neither direction is going to go in a positive way. So if you meet somebody that doesn't deal with the drama and strife and trouble and negativity and constant whirlwind that you seem to have in your life, if you meet somebody that their home is calm, they're never battling with people, they disconnect and keep their environment, kind of low key, they don't like conflict, they don't create issues, and they don't seem to have, a lot of hostilities with people. And if you have all of those things and you notice somebody that doesn't, Wouldn't it make more sense to sit down and go, I need to pay attention to you? Because I'm struggling with all these things that are all negative, and they're all bad for my health, my mental, my mental mindset, my emotional stability. It's all bad. It can hurt you in every way possible. Let me sit here and go, hey, how do you not engage in this stuff? The last thing, if I saw somebody that had a much calmer existence than me, the last thing I would do would be like, be angry that they had a calm home, or be angry that they wouldn't join in the drama. I don't know why people want people in drama so much. It doesn't. I don't want to be in drama, and I certainly don't want anyone else to be in drama. Now, I've said this millions of times. I'll say it again. I will choose no relationship over an unhealthy one. Unhealthy relationships kill you. They break you down. They wear you down. They're harmful. They bring you nothing. It's like having an infected thorn, and it just wears you down, and it eventually seeps into your bloodstream and sets up infection, and then boom, this little bitty thing took you down. So I would hope that people would pay attention and be like, okay, your quality of life is much better than mine at the moment. I probably need to pay attention to you, rather than do what was done to me and try to create drama and strife and drag me into conflict that shouldn't exist, doesn't exist. I'm not sure. I'm still confused at everything that happened the last week and a half. Like, you sat in front of me 3.5 days ago and were great, and then 3 days later, I am the devil that is the most endangering thing you've ever spent time with. Emotions and beliefs and perceptions that change that quickly, normally not an indicator of anything good. You know, um, especially when there's been years of that's been consistently the behavior. If everything's great, you know, everything's great. And that's been the pattern for a few years now. Everything's great. Well, here, everything's great. Nothing's ever great anywhere else, but here, everything's great. I seem to be the calm place where people could land. And in 3 days, now you have a backlog of years of things you've tabulated that we need to discuss, and I need to be held responsible for. I mean, I'm not, well, no, I am. I was going to say not being sarcastic, but I'm going to be sarcastic and nasty and witty right now. Honestly, I think a good, soapy water enema or colonic would probably do you better. Because at least you'd be getting rid of some real poop that way, because I'm pretty sure that whatever's being manifested to be my problem ain't going to make you feel near as good as, what they might get out of your colon and poop track, Yeah, it's just bang for your buck here. But some people are just, that's what you get. And I have to recognize that I played a part in this. I made allowances, concessions, and eventually excuses for the behavior. I tried to be way too positive, even when there were negative things happening that I should have spoken about. It's my fault. There were negative things happening that I should have spoken about. Oh, but Liz, things will get better. Oh, but Liz, they're growing. They just haven't grown that much. Oh, but Liz. Kindness for most people equals weakness. I'm not weak. And I'm really sweet and gracious, and I will be on your side and help you in any way I can until you've proven to me that I can't, and then I'm done. And when I'm done, I'm done. And y'all have heard me say that, I'm sweet and I'm great until I'm not, and then I'm done. And I'm done. I hit done. I've hit done twice. I hit done, and then because they just continued, because I wouldn't do this online, because my doctor was like, don't engage, let bed rest, don't you move, take this heart medicine, take this, and don't, and I was like, okay, I'm listening to you, Betty. That was scary. I'm listening to you, Betty. But when I wouldn't respond in the way that normally works for them, they sent someone to my home. And so at that point, it had to be addressed. I didn't want to address it. Cried the whole way through it. I was a combination of emotions I normally am never a combination of. I was crying. I was upset. I was sad. I was pissed off. I was cussing like a sailor because I had hit a place that I don't think I've ever emotionally hit before. Ever. And while I knew what I was saying needed to be heard, I also knew it was going to hurt them. There was a chance it could possibly help them in the future. But I also needed them to know that I was done. Because the last 10 days of my life, I do not want to repeat. And y'all have known for the last couple of years, I've not had a lot of control over my flares. They come and go. I don't know what's triggering them anymore. They are just seems like they're more ready to pounce and rip me apart. And so I just every bit of me is constantly focusing on my health, wondering if I'm overdoing it. Am I taxing myself too much? Should I make this decision? Should I have made that decision? Should I do this? It's exhausting just trying to not exhaust myself, if that makes sense. And so we kind of keep a really low-key home around here because it's not good for me to get upset, because then my body will just crash and burn. So my home was just mangled. My heart was mangled. My home was mangled. My belief in people was mangled. Humanity, it was mangled. My hope for some futures and some positive things to happen was mangled. But I had to sit there and say, what can I control? I can control me, how I react and respond, and my environment. That's all. It's me and my environment. That's all I got. All I got. So I set out the boundary that I can't do this anymore. I can't do this again. I don't want to. This is not the role I want to play in anyone's life. This is not the role I will be pushed into. I will not adopt it. Therefore, I'm out. And I had to do that because my home has to be my sanctuary, and it has to be where I'm safe, and it has to be where I can put myself and my health first. I probably don't have a lot of time above ground left. But what I do have here will be dictated by me. My home will be a reflection of me, and it will be calm, and it will be quiet, and it will be happy, and it will handle its crap effectively and efficiently, and it will not certainly seep its crap out to other people. And I take that very seriously. And I hope that everyone understands that. You and your home, you and your environment, that's all you've got. Tend them well. And if either of those things are bringing you bad vibes or unhappiness, that's your problem. Fix it. Don't take it to someone else's front door. Don't offload it as someone else's responsibility. Fix it. And so I had to fix some crap this week. And I had to fix some crap that I had to identify that I had allowed to happen. Because I'm kind. And I gave too many allowances, too many concessions, and that turned into excuses. And I allowed it to morph into what it was. Pay attention. But emotions are deadly things. Let's look at the world around us. It's what we see every day. People that react emotionally, do stupid things, end other people's lives. For an emotion they're going to visit for maybe 5 minutes to 5 hours, you're just visiting. Honey, that's just an emotional bus stop. You don't have to stay on that bus. You can go to another emotional bus stop, and if you're unhappy here, you can go over here and get on the happy bus. You just have to make that happen. You have to do the work to make that happen. And I learned this week that I had allowed concessions and eventually excuses for someone that did not care for me, had no respect for me, had no care, respect, or understanding of my health and what I deal with. Had never attempted to understand who I was as a person, just wanted to fear me, create ambivalence and animosity, and then pass it out like free candy at Halloween for everyone else to take a bite of. And sadly, people do that. I wish I could get along with everybody. Denise, yeah, sometimes you have to make hard decisions. I wish I could get along with everybody. But I grew up and saw a lot of stuff that kids should never see, saw a lot of behavior that kids should never see, never know, saw a lot of adult issues that kids should never know about. And when I got old enough to understand that, hey, this house, this home, it's my responsibility. I dictate this world. I own this little piece of property. What I say goes here. And if I don't want you here, you're not going to be here. I get to dictate this little piece of land in this little tiny house. And I really want it to be a pleasant experience for the people that choose to come here. And it may not be much, but when they walk in, I want them to feel love, and I want them to feel warmth, and I want them to feel welcome. But I will never again make allowances or concessions or excuses for people that walk in my home and I feel the animosity and I feel the unwillingness to just kind of relax into my home and test it out. See if you like it. Give it a chance. I'll never overlook phrases said to me that I thought were in jest that were not in jest. I'll never overlook people that demean me for the friends I make or the people I choose to surround myself with. Because people choose people for all different reasons. What does it matter to you? Does it affect your daily life? If so, how? A friendship is a very private thing. I don't get to dictate that. But I also understand that I don't get to dictate other people. And again, the only thing I have to control is myself and my little space here, my little home. And so if I feel any animosity, any anger, anything off kilter ever again, I will never wait this long again to speak up. Dave has done better than me because Dave had noticed stuff, and we had several discussions about it because he notices these things. Because while I'm talking and focusing on people, he's being quiet and people watching. So we had both kind of addressed the issue, I was on the team of it's going to improve, and he was on the team of I don't think it's going to. Um, so David was smarter than me in this instant. And to be quite honest, I would rather there have never been a need for us to have teams to wonder which was going to work out. I wish it had just worked. But I don't. People are people are people. They're all individuals. And I know that probably what occurred came from hurt and from them experiencing hurt, experiencing people that have not treated them well, and not having the love and respect and comfort and consistency that they needed from people that should have been in important familial loving roles. I can recognize all of that, but I can't fix it, and I can't be at fault for it either. So I know that these people that go through these things experience all of that and often take it out on others. I'm not ever willing to be a target, and I feel like this is the longest time in my life that I've allowed myself to willingly be a target, and that's why I created. I was really hoping that I was wrong, but so half the fault's mine because I should have stopped it sooner. It can be my large family. Denise, yes, we're basically stuck with each other at this point. Third Eye says, I stayed away from my family for 2 years. Definitely the black sheep. I am. I was the only person in my family to speak out about how things affected me, and I think a lot of times what I went through and the struggles I had, and because of that, I learned how to set up my home and control my environment and make sure that my home was a reflection of what I needed. I needed a happy, safe sanctuary. That's what I wanted. I knew I needed that, so I made that. And I think some people, if they know you've been through trauma, they use it. They know if they've been through trauma, then they kind of know the emotions that are triggers. They know the behaviors that will get you. And some people that have gone through trauma and have not healed from it and have not processed it, for some reason, they feel really good when they cause other people trauma. And they kind of wear it like a badge of honor when they were able to create what someone else forced upon them. So now they're powerful too. But that's not really powerful. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to cause people to be in pain. What's really hard is making people believe that you really love them, because that is just so unheard of these days. So if you want to challenge, start trying to make someone think that you really do love them for all the right reasons. Because that's not something that happens a lot in our world, sadly, anymore. It's really easy to hurt people. This has been just, I don't know, a week of revelations. And people that I could sit down and talk to and make sense of this. Just a few years ago, they've been like, oh, heck yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I see that too. Wow. No, that's not healthy. I've effectively lost them too. And it's sad, but I don't get to dictate their path. I wish to heck for every time I say I don't get to dictate somebody else or their path, I wish like it would sink in that they shouldn't be trying to dictate mine. But I know it's a power play. I know it's to cause pain, because they've experienced pain, and the person that gave them their pain was the most powerful person in their life. So they think if they give out pain, then they must be the most powerful person in people's lives. No, no, you're just the meanest. And that's never an award. You know, there are times you have to be stern with people, and there are times you have to put down boundaries. But I don't walk around every day going, gee, I hope somebody tests me today. And no, I just walk around going, I just want to get through today, have no problems, no squabbles, make a few crafts, hum a few songs. It's about all my life consists of. And what you don't know normally is that somebody else is sitting over there trying to create a plan to dictate the whole next 10 years of your life so that, when they say jump, you jump, and say how high. But if I've told you once, I've told you 5,000 times. When someone tries to make you feel an emotion, and they really want you to feel that emotion, it's because they're wanting you in an emotional state, because then you're easier to control. So when people want me in certain emotions, I normally go to the opposite. So I spent most of the week being really chill and relaxed and just thinking, trying to rationally go through everything. And what I realized was that I caused half of this by offering allowances, concessions, and finally excuses for behavior that I never should have tolerated. But I also realized that in all the time that I've spent with this specific person, I've never heard them speak in a joyful manner about someone else. I've never heard them say kind things about other people. I've never heard them celebrate happiness or successes of other people. And that made me really sad, because that tells me exactly what is missing in their world. And nobody can fix that but them. And then, as long as that is the propulsion behind life, then drama is always going to be necessary to hide. Because if I'm worried about fixing everyone else and hanging on to everybody else's drama, then I cannot worry. My problems are secondary or on down the list. Nobody's noticing what's wrong with me if I'm pointing out what's wrong with everyone else. I get to effectively hide. So a lot of people create this because they get to hide in the dust storm they kick up. But life would be so much better if you just settle. Look at yourself, flaws and all. Fix what you can fix. Ask for help with the things that you need help to fix. And really make sure that you have positive relationships with positive people. That creates positive energy, and you do positive things together. That's how easy it is to start. It's hard to look at yourself. It's hard to see the things that you're responsible for, that you create, and that you should have done better at, but it's necessary. So that's what I did all week too. And I will never again allow my allowances, concessions, and grace to somehow slip over into the toxic excuse land. Y'all, I learned that hard this week. Be very careful. There is a time to hold people accountable, and there is a time to offer grace and a time to say, sorry, I'm out. I need to find that line better. I'm going to have to work on that. Always ask for, if people are stating that certain things you're doing are causing certain things to happen, or that this happened because of you, I need proof. I need receipts. I understand you're feeling bad and you want to blame this on me. I need proof. if you positive that this happened because of me, and that this person was speaking of me, and that's, show me. Or if you state that, this was one of the biggest things, because I'm on YouTube, and because I'm such a well-known crafting middle-aged mother who makes pine cone possums on YouTube, I was creating an influx of undue attention on extended family members. I have 7 in the stream with me right now. I think I have a pretty dedicated base of about 10 to 20. And pretty sure none of yous are like trying to like figure out who my friends or loved ones are and go after them or their extended families. If you are, my God, if you've got energy to waste, let me give you something else to do. Like, I can find 500 things for you to do. But I was like, okay, fine, show me. I'll take care of it. Nothing. Bloop, crickets, nothing. And the thing is if you'd shown me proof, I'd be like, I'll fix this. I'll fix this right now. I apologize. But if it's so important to really affect me in that way, and it's so important to tear me down and to attack me and to say that I'm creating a danger, show me. Show me the validity of your concern. Because that's important. If it's that much of a concern, show me so it's also that much of a concern to me, so that we both locked eyes on the same thing and we both know exactly what we're talking about. But when I asked, nothing was ever presented, and I was like, and it was sad because I had to kind of like go into detective mode because I was getting nothing. And it was like, a lot of it was, the I feel statements, which, in counseling, there's a place for I feel statements. But when you're bringing allegations to someone, we need dates, times, occurrences, and then proof, receipts. And, and it was just, it did not feel right. And I knew it was a power play, and it broke my heart. It literally almost broke my heart, literally almost killed the darn thing. But I knew immediately what I was looking at. And I was looking at the efforts of someone who hated me so much that they didn't care to cause me the most anguish of my entire life at what should be the most joyous time of year, while I'm already handling the anniversary of my best friend and his death. My granny's been not doing so well. My mother's health is depleting because of all the care she's providing for my granny. I'm useless in that regard. I can barely take care of myself. By the way, I do have nurse care that's going to be starting around the first of the year because of all of this. And it's not CNA. They're sending a bona fide nurse because of all the heart and crap. So for anyone that was worried about me going into another winter alone, I'm getting a nurse. So I guess that's one good thing that came out of this. I guess when you almost kick it, they go, oh, we might ought to take care of her. So I will have a nurse at home with me this winter. I will have her for a few hours a day. We're going to try to do it so that I get her when David's at work, so that I have someone to help me with activities of daily living, so that David doesn't always feel like my caretaker. It's just, I don't want my husband to feel like my caretaker. I know what that turns into, and I'm trying really hard to keep those two things separate. So that's one good thing that came out of this. But, it's just, I've got a lot going on right now. And to think that someone just thought it was a good time to dump and create this whole big stir about how I am creating a danger to my extended family. by being on the internet. But, and I'm like, I look at it this way. This is the one thing that allows me to fill that gap of, I used to be a parole officer and a counselor. I'm used to working 80 hours a week. I was very social. I was very always, active in hundreds of families' lives across this area. And so being homebound immediately after I got very sick was very difficult for me. So this has been a great way for me to reach out and just kind of express my opinions about news, politics, do some psych reviews, talk about some stupid crap, point out some of the really unbecoming bullying that happens on the YouTube platform, and then just crafting and having fun. And it has filled such a void in my life. And that was another thing, is the one thing that they wanted me to stop. The one thing that was the problem was the one thing that brought me joy. Of course, abusers. We all know. We all know that you hate us so much that you want the one thing that makes us happy. It's like that's stamped in chapter 1, page 1, sentence 1, chapter 1 of Abuse, the saga. And it's just like, how bogus can you make your claim? I mean, when it reads like a manual of, I hate you, let me ruin your life. And so I was, I'm not willing to give this up. I'm not. I had to take a break for a week and a half. I'm not willing to give this up. Third eye reaction. You're willing to jump in here and make people laugh anytime you want to. I get a kick out of some of the names people come up with, and as long as you're not inappropriate, I'm okay with it. But Denise, I try to never be out of line. I try, but my boy, listen, when I have a button, when you push it, if I feel like I'm in danger or I feel like you're coming at me to do harm, I can be a hooch, but I don't ever like to be that person. I don't ever like to be in that profile in my mind. I don't ever like to visit that emotion very often. And it's sad to think that people live there and are happy, quite content there. Quite content. Content enough to think that everybody else should live there too. No, thank you. So yeah, but I own some of this too. I should not have made allowances and excuses. And the first time I felt something was off, I should have sat down and said, something's off. The first time I was asked to change the way that my household handled things to accommodate someone else who was only going to be here for a few minutes. No, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here. I want you to enjoy spending time with my family, but I can't change the way we do things in this home, this family, for you, who's going to be here 20 minutes. Sorry. I never should have tried to accommodate so much that ownership, an idea of ownership over my home and how it functions was created. And that's on me. You look at some people and you don't think they're dangerous. I should know that. I should know that everyone's dangerous. A supervised goddamn murderers. Everyone has the potential to do bad things. Everyone has the potential to do good things. It would surprise you sometimes what profile chooses to do what, because sometimes these, haggard, evil-looking people have really good hearts. They just, bless their hearts, the outside's a little rough. And sometimes these people that look like sweet angelic creatures are the devil themselves. And sometimes you don't gauge them properly. And I miss this one. I had some warning signs, and like I said, I made excuses. I kept giving allowances and concessions, and but it's because it'll get better. But that's when I tripped over into giving excuses for behavior, and that's when effectively I had given them control. You have to be very careful. Even at my freaking age, with my education, all I've done, and as careful as I've been to raise a family, structure a home, and watch out for people that are malicious, that do go through life just hell bent on causing other people grief. It happens to me too. I missed it. Missed it. Not only did I miss the identification of this person parading around as a monster, but for years I tried to put a halo on their head because I really wanted life to work out for them. I really wanted what they came out of to not follow them. I really wanted the bad things that had occurred to be erased by all the great things that were going to happen. And I wanted in my brain the positive thing that could happen. I wanted to believe it was happening. And I missed what was really happening. And that's my fault. I should have paid more attention. I should have spoken up when I felt the shift. I should have stated things earlier when I had issues. I should not have allowed my home to augment change patterns of behavior, change ways we celebrate things. I should never have changed those things for someone that has never had 1 ounce of change done for me or mine. You're right, Denise. You can't always fix dysfunction and evil. You can't. I should know how to spot it better, though. That's on me. I should have. And the thing is I know I had concerns. But again, because of the background that person was coming out of, I had eternal hopes that the future was going to be bright and great and things were going to change. And it was just, we were just going to watch this person blossom and grow. And I didn't want to believe that failure was going to happen. In my brain. Because when I got away from some bad things in my world, I made it my mission to never be okay with those bad things again and to not allow those bad things in my home. And in my head, I thought surely anyone that has also witnessed certain bad things will have the same reaction. They'll not want to allow those bad things to occur. They won't want to allow those bad things to happen in their home. They won't want to act out what they know hurt them so bad. I wanted to believe that they would succeed and everything was going to come up roses. And I got stuck, I think, in my belief, my hope, instead of reality. And that's on me too. You know, I wear some blame in this. But I tell you what, no matter how much I dislike somebody, I will never dump a pile of crap on their lap in the middle of a holiday season when I know they're handling the anniversary of their best friend's death, a sick grandmother, a mother that's also health is failing, a lot of health issues. I mean, it would never dawn on me to go, hey, and also, I don't like you. So it doesn't, that's just not, it's not how I roll. And I'm just appalled. Just appalled. Denise, yeah. Denise, I think we met for a reason. I think we were just supposed to kind of look at each other and go, I got you. Been there. I think I've got 3 or 4 of the t-shirts. But I would like to say that I think society is going to improve, but I don't think it is. In the last few weeks, I've seen more domestic issues and violence in families that I would never think would have violence in them. I've seen more public outbursts in my little town. Someone don't like how I can speak. Third, I'm sure a lot of people don't like me. You know, I was a parole officer for about a decade, so I sent, I would release people, and I had the violent male offenders. I had murders and aggravated assault and some really not nice people. And if they violated the parole, I sent them back to prison. So I'm sure there's lots of people out there that don't, I'm not their favorite person. But I have to say, at least the people on my caseload were straight up honest to tell me they didn't like me. I can work with that. If you just say, hey, I don't like you, I'll be like, okay, we got a starting point. That's good. We know where each other stands. I'm okay with that. But, if I had to sit and wonder and fill you out and, like I said, make allowances, concessions, and then finally excuses, that's just a really bad place to be. That's just a really bad place to be. Really, if you just don't like me, just be like, you're not my cup of tea. So I'm out. And I'll be like, okay, cool. We're not going to waste time on each other. This is great. Because not everybody, we're not all supposed to like each other. We're not all supposed to gel. We have different pulls in our hearts for different types of people for a reason. It's who we're supposed to be around, bond with, and who's bringing what to our life. And, so I have no problem when someone says, you're just not my person. Okay, I'm okay. Because I appreciate the honesty. The dishonesty is what really, or the being played, being manipulated is really what irritates me. Because I'm like, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's not necessary. It really wins you, gains you nothing. All it does is cost us both time and energy. Just honestly, what's it worth? Just tell people if you don't like them and be like, peace them out. I've done it a few times, and in this specific scenario, sadly, even though I think I've cried for about 4 hours today, I've had to say, listen, if this is the role that I'm wanted in, and this is the role that I'm going to be forced in, whether I'm playing the role or not, because there's been no proof, I don't want to be in this role. This is not a role I would want to be placed in. It's not a role I want to adopt. So if this is where I'm going to be crammed, I'm out. You don't have to worry about cramming me anywhere. I'm out. I'm just going to go over here and do my life. Cool. But it's sad when you have to say that, but sometimes it's necessary. And this is the time, I believe it's the second time I've ever had to say that in my life. The second time. And I believe it was necessary. And for my health and my sanity, I believe it's necessary. It's just sad. It's just very sad. It's just, And what's even more sad is what if I had my levels had kept at that high range and had put me in that heart attack. I should have already been in one. I'm lucky. Like, they're like, these levels, this lactic acidosis, it normally comes along with heart attacks with people that have your issue. It affects people with your issues much different than it affects normal people that get it through, like, weightlifting, stuff like that. Because of my issues, more MS and neurological and neuromuscular, it's much more lethal. I should not be here. I should have died last Sunday. I should have died a week ago Sunday. I should be dead. That's a sobering thought. It will make you think. But what if I had passed? Well, my husband's going to be a widower now because of I feel I don't like you. I think you're dangerous to your family, but I got no proof. And then when I'm like, chill, leave me alone, I've got to deal with my health, send people to my home to where I have to address it. And then when I do address it, the first thing is like, that's not at all what was said. Games. It was all a game for power that almost killed me. And my husband would be sitting alone because you thought it was funny, because you were bored, sitting home and wanted to just tell me how much you hated me, just off the spur. You know, and I knew how vicious it was. The message was when I got it. That's what immediately locked me down. I knew how irrational and illogical that, like, there was no foundation of consistency, thought, honesty, nothing here. It was vicious. And that's what I knew. I was like, this is a big problem. This is huge. This is a big problem that I'm going to have to fix. And it immediately locked me down. Y'all saw the video if you've not seen my video from last Monday, go watch. My jaws were, I didn't chew for 2.5 days. It was pathetic. I ate yogurt. I think it was even hard to eat yogurt. But over boredom, and I'm like, okay, if it's this important, show me. I'll fix it. I didn't keep any of those things. What kind of person do you have to be to go after somebody with that anger and that malice? And write a manifesto that would make Hitler blush. And then when the person goes, okay, give me the proof and I'll fix it. That's not even what was said. Really? Because they got it right here. Really? We're going to play that game? Really? And, you know, and I immediately I realized my husband could be mourning me right now, putting me in the freaking ground, although I've asked to be incinerated because little spaces and fat girls don't work. But anyway, thank God I have a sense of humor. But my husband could be mourning me right now over something that wasn't that important. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. I just tried to devastate your whole life and turn everyone that loves you against you and try to make you out to be this horrible, deplorable, just vicious person. It's just a joke. When I feel ready, we'll talk about it. Okay, I'll call you. No. That was the last time you dictated anything in my world, was when you sent that horrible message. No, my house will not stop so that you may visit and we may discuss things at your convenience. No, nothing will ever be at your convenience ever again. No. Because this is where I am really good. When I'm done, I'm done. Boundaries, easy for me. Giving up on people, hard. But when I have to, closing the book, real easy. And that's sad. That's sad. Because for me, I look at it as I failed. I failed somebody that I potentially could have helped. But in all honesty, they failed themselves. They failed themselves. And I refuse to play a role like this in someone's boredom, in someone's life, in someone's ambivalence. And I just know. You know, and then you get people are going to find out who you really are. I'm almost 45 years old. I've lived in the same county since birth, basically. I moved away for a few years with my first marriage. Everybody knows me. They've known me since I was big enough to get out of diapers. Everybody knows who I am. I don't hide crap. I'm the most open person. I don't mind to tell everybody every detail of my life. My God, I get on the internet and do it. But the thing is that this person needs to take stock that is your control. Is that you'll make up stories and tell people stories about people. I mean, sure, if you're in the younger crew and you don't have a foundation of knowledge, it might work for a while. But when you get into us older people, we're old as dirt and we've known people since they let merry-go-rounds be on playgrounds and teeter-totters when they didn't care about kids falling off 50-foot slides. You know, we're the old crew. We need some proof, verification, receipts, video surveillance. We need some proof. And so it's just like, okay. And about every third person you try to tell that I'm a horrible, vicious, evil person to, I've probably saved someone in their family's life because I've gotten them into drug rehab, or I put them into jail on a violation of probation or parole before they could overdose and kill themselves. Or I put their kids on the angel tree so that their kids would have presents to open, because even as deplorable of a human being as they were at the moment, not following their supervision mandates and still doing things they should be doing, I still wrote those youngins' kids' names and put them in every program that could bring them clothes, toys, and Christmas gifts. Because you know something? That kid should not be punished for his parents' bad decisions. You know, whether they was still in the home or grandma had foster care or custody or they were in foster care, I put them kids' names down. So it's going to be real hard to find people that are going to believe I'm a turd. Even the ones I put in prison, I shook their hand before I sent them off. And I said, hey, bud, you know, if you get an option to come back out, let's do this better next time. It's real hard. And it's harder than they think, this younger crew. It's harder than they think. Because they're used to this. And you can make anybody believe anything through this. And you can. But when it comes to tactile, physical, interactive relationships, it's very difficult to blow smoke up this older people's onions and make them believe it. So I'm just like, okay, ruin me. I mean, if I could eat popcorn, because it really doesn't like my digestive tract, if I could eat popcorn, I would be like, put on the show. You know? But it's just sad that people have that intent. It's just sad. It's just sad that people have that intent. And it's just like, you know, as much as I say, be kind to people, be good to people, be gracious, you know, offer grace, dispense grace before you dispense hate. There are times you need to sit back on your haunches and go, something don't feel right, and we need to talk about it. Because let me tell you, I didn't do that. And I made allowances, concessions, and then excuses, and allowed this person control, too much emotional manipulation over my home. And it about cost me my life. 10 days ago? It about cost me my life. And you want to know why it about cost me my life? Because I care. Because it hurt me so much when I read those words. It hurt me so much that it triggered my reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And within 30 minutes, I was in a full body lockdown. Every muscle group above my knees was locked down. And my body just purged so much lactic acid into my system at one time that I hit a toxic level. And with people that have lactic acidosis for my reasons, like the neurological, neuromuscular, MS, RSD, it affects our bodies in a different way. We're more sensitive to it. A lot more people have heart attacks and have heart damage because of it. than just like athletes that skipped leg day for 3 months and then had leg day and, oh, I can't walk for, I could not move. My biceps were locked. My traps were locked. My jaw was locked. I couldn't move. And I'm just very thankful that I have a physician and a group of specialists that will Zoom call immediately when I'm in trouble. And I'm just eternally blessed that my doctor is like, help us figure out how to help you. Because when it comes to a place where they're like, we're ignorant, they'll say, help us help you. What do we need to do? And everyone put their heads together and came up with a great plan. We knew that if I got admitted, it would take away their control of overseeing my treatment. And if the physician that I got it, put under didn't understand my RSD, which a lot of them don't, the way they could potentially treat me for what was going on could potentially have killed me if they treated it more as a like athletic normal lactic acidosis. It needed to be treated as an RSD flare symptom and a toxic overload to my body, as opposed to, oh, your muscles are just doing something funny. Had they attempted to treat just my muscles would have just spit out more and it would have just killed me. So my doctors were like, we can't admit her unless we send her to Knoxville or Nashville so that when the specialist has her, that's too much of a round trip. That's too hard. So they created this plan between them, blood work, injections, those hormones, and home health. And sheer luck, because they kept telling me, we're going to take this 12, 24 hours at a time. And if your levels don't continually go down, if for any reason they start to go the other way, we have to admit you somewhere. You have to immediately. And I was like, I know. And it was just sheer luck. And the good Lord not wanting to take me. I don't know. Maybe he thinks I'm annoying right now. Probably right. But I should be dead. I should be dead. Boy, let me tell you. And I've been told a few times before, you're not going to, we don't look for this hospitalization to end well. You're not doing well. I've been told that a couple times before. So it's not like the first death talk I've ever had. But this one I thought was the most asinine because there was no reason. For the trigger moment, which was those words, that hatred, those words, that expression in that format at that time. There was no reason for it. And I basically, had I died, I would have died because somebody was bored, mad, and wanted to take it out on someone else. And when I basically tried to express that, oh, you're being dramatic. Well, we're lucky I'm able to be dramatic because I should be 6 foot in a hole right now. So, but if that's the amount of respect I got, then you don't deserve a place at my table, and you certainly don't deserve space in my heart. But that's hard. It took me 10 days to say that. That's sad. But here I am. Must have 9 lives. I've got to be down to 1 or 2 though, because I've had so many issues the last few years. But I'm so far behind, not finishing all my Christmas gifts. I don't even give a rat's flipping butt right now. I don't. I had canceled Christmas until my daughter begged, and she was like, I'm going to have, she's like, if I want to come up now, I have to get a hotel. And I hated to put that burden on her. So it's like, you can sleep here. I'm not being a hostess. I'm barely functioning. Don't expect much. I'm just done. I'm over it. And I think she thinks she's going to be able to cheer me up. And I'm like, honey, don't set yourself up for failure. Please don't. It's just not going to be a good Christmas for me. But I'll get through it. But I'm just not I had all these gifts that I was making, and I'm halfway through a lot of them, and I put them all in the craft room and stacked them all up. And David was like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm done." He's like, "But those are presents." And I was like, "I know, but I'm done. Emotionally, mentally, physically, I'm just done." Honestly, that ruined anything that I had my hands on working on. All I can think about now is, oh, I was almost through this and I was happy, and then this happened. And I don't want to finish it now. It's like tainted. I don't know if I will finish them. So I'm just kind of, I have to spend a lot of time in bed. The medications, they make me feel like crap. David's trying to sell some of the smaller stuff to move out. So he's like, he took pictures of everything today on the table. He's got like his fur palms. He's just got 5 of these, or 6 of these left. 5, 6. And 6. It's got a raccoon one. And then those coyote tooth necklaces I made. It's got the coyote teeth and the resin. He took pictures today and put them on Facebook, and I shared them. And he's just trying to move out some of the smaller stuff so he doesn't store so much over the winter. And somebody bought something on Etsy today, and I went through the motions and packaged it. But it's just like I'm just done. And I don't know if my YouTube lives will turn into a joyous occasion anytime soon. I just don't. We'll just have to all feel through it together and see how I come out the other end of this. Because right now, I feel like I'm caught in the belly of a ruminant. And I'm about 2 stomachs into the 4 I've got to go through. And it's just like, will I make it? Every time I think I'm through one, here comes another. But it's been a rough week and a half. And I'm sure a lot of the malaise I'm feeling is the medicine. I'm sure it is. But and so it may improve, but I can't. We'll be checking my heart after the first of the year. So that's when we'll know if anything bad kind of occurred and is going to stick with me long term after that. So until then, I have to kind of stay and make sure I take care of me. Thank you, Aloha. I appreciate that. Haley, bless your heart. Yeah, the toll it takes when people just kind of expect you to die, it's like, okay. After a while, it's just like, okay, I've, had that talk, packed and ready to go. There's, no need to dwell. But I would have been severely frustrated if my husband had to mourn me over somebody's boredom. I'll get there again, Denise. Right now, I think I kind of had to numb down to get through it because I couldn't stay upset, and because that would just make another flare and more lactic acid, and it was like the cycle that never ends. So I had to really just kind of calm down and kind of really I really had to go back into my work mode where I compartmentalize and had to look at rational, logical patterns and deal with it, as if I was looking externally at someone else's issue. And that helped me kind of process it without all the emotions tangled into it. But I think for me, things were kind of up in the air until I could have like the stress test and all the other tests done. So I don't know. I'm sure the nurse, when I get my nurse assignment, she'll be starting after Christmas. I'm sure that I'll feel more comfortable in the evenings when I have them here with me. So that may improve. That may improve my personality a little bit and kind of my emotional state a little bit. But I think until I get off this medicine that makes me feel like crap, I'm just kind of bound to be, it's just, ugh. So it just is what it is. So, but I know everybody was really worried, and I didn't want to say anything because I had hopes that this would just kind of work out, and there would, it would just been a health bubble that I didn't really need to explain and just move on. But as I laid there today and I thought, no, this was a really big lesson. This was a really big life lesson for me. And I don't want anyone else to have to learn it this way. So if I can save anyone this kind of pain, pay attention to the emotions that people bring to you. Because if they are bringing you negative emotions constantly, they're bringing you negative interactions constantly. That is basically like bringing a noose to you every time they're not bringing you positivity and happy things. They're bringing something that could potentially be lethal. And if they leave and come back with more negativity, it's like they've left and they're coming back with more rope. They're really planning this out. Some people will dedicate this much time to this. And if you figure it out that they are just trying to swing you from their, emotional, proverbial emotional noose, if you figure it out and you get out of that puppy and you're safe, burn the rope and cut down the damn tree and leave. Don't sit there and wait for them to get another tree and go buy more rope, start it all over again. Because I think that's kind of what I did. I kept saying, I want to get better. There's a reason behind this behavior. We'll get through it. It will get better. Some people are just unhappy when others are happy. And some people are just not happy until everyone else is unhappy. And I was way too open and way too forgiving. And all those things that I normally say are great, and they normally are, they worked against me in every way this time. So, and I can't say, I didn't dislike this person. For all intents and purposes, I love this person. But as of right now, I have no place in my life for this person. Because if that is what this person brings, and it's not positive and it's going to harm me, why would I ever welcome them back? And I know that this person's probably already trying to find a way to engage me again because that's how they work. They get, their emotional bills paid from the engagement, from the drama, from the, the fuzz, the fight. I don't. That depletes me. It exhausts me. It almost kills me. And if this is where we're going to have the proverbial missed high five, no, we have no room in our lives for each other. We are just not good for each other. Yeah, from afar, really, 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 really far. So, I look better than I sounded an hour and a half ago, didn't I? I'm still very pale. And what y'all don't know is I got mad, cut my hair the other day, thought I was cutting length. And because I'm stupid, I wasn't. I was just cutting layers. So I would like for it to be like right here, but I can't talk David into cutting it now because he's scared he'll screw it up. So now I've got all these layers, but it didn't take off any of the length. So I think I'm going to have to actually take myself to the salon. I haven't been there since like 2020 because I've been sick or stuck or you have to wear 5 masks. And I was just like, screw y'all, I'm staying home. I can't deal with society right now. So I've not had my hair done in 3 years. So, and I know I've got at least that much that needs to come off. That's so dead. That is so dead. But I need some color, but it's better than it was. I was like green gray for a few days, and David was very worried. You would actually love my salon lady. She is just tattooed from head to toe and pierced, and she's just an open book and sweet, and she's just fun. She's just fun. She's fun. I was losing hair for a while too, and that's when I knew I needed to shape it up. And it's actually a lot healthier up here, but I need to learn how to cut hair because obviously I got my layers good. I mean, it looks actually pretty decent to be quite honest, but I didn't get the length, the final layer cut off. It when it's styled, it actually goes down into some pretty little layers, but I've not had my hair this long since I was about 29, 30. And so it's a lot for me to take care of. But now, since I'm getting a nurse, I think it'll be easier. And I'm gonna really milk having a nurse here. Well, thank you, Third. I will. I'm not. I'm upset, and I'm gonna have to process this, and it's gonna be a burn on my saddle pad for a while. But there's still a lot in life to love and hang on to. But I think with what I just went through, paired with all this medicine, paired with my energy is really low right now because of everything that happened. It's going to take me longer to get back to the me that y'all are normally aware of. So I'm going to try, but it's going to take me a while. David, on the other hand, is trying to video as much as possible when he's checking traps and stuff. Now, he took off 4 days and babysat me, bless his heart, because if I had needed the home health for those 4 days, I was going to have to pay out of pocket because of some rule. I didn't understand it. David took 4 days off. He was home. That was great. We got through it. And I've done really, like, my doctors are like, how in the crap do you bounce back? I just do. It's just what I do. I'm lucky. But as soon as I could tell him, go check your traps, get out of the house, he needed to, because he doesn't sit still well, and he's an outdoor man, and that's how he processes and gets through emotional stuff. He goes out and he does, he does his thing. And so as soon as I was like, I'm good, go check your traps, he was ready to go. And so he's taped quite a bit. And when I'm not sleeping at night, because that's when my muscles are still causing me problems at like 2 and 3 a.m. Oh my gosh, it gets bad at night. I will edit his videos. And he has actually done some on his own, and I'm very proud of that. I edited some. I did a couple in the middle and got everything lined up for the last. He did the majority of the last one. The last two, really, he's done the majority of them, but he's done the majority. Like, as soon as I download them and line them up in the little video bank, streaming bank, then he watches and can add the stickers and text and stuff, and he's doing really well learning. And so he's got like 2 new videos up. And so I've kind of like taught him the gist of it, and he's doing really well. And he's trying to get to where he does it all on his own, because I think he knows now it's a stress. Now, on the other hand, this has been really beneficial for me for like Christmas, because me, who normally never has anything in her stocking or under the tree, I normally get like one gift, and it's what I tell David I want, and that's what he gets, and that's it. So I have like no surprises ever, which I don't mind. We've been married 20 years. It works for me. Every time the man has left, there's been something else appear in my stocking or under the tree. So I think he really, it hit him how like close he came to not having me. And so he's been really attentive, and my stocking is full. So I imagine this did hurt him as much as it hurt me. It just scared him, I think, more than it scared me. I deal with you're not doing well a lot from the doctors. I think this is the first time that the doctor's words scared him a lot. And I know that at one point when my muscles were freezing and we didn't know what was going on, I was locking up. I think he initially thought I was like having a seizure, and I wasn't. I'm just my muscles were locking up, and my vocal cords got into it a little bit this time too. And it's really weird because like the biggest muscles I have are these big trap muscles up here because I used to lift weights, and so when they lock up, like literally everything locks up. And so I was, and like my pecs were moving independently, my traps were moving, my biceps were clenched, and I couldn't move my jaw. And it looked like I was having a seizure, and I think it terrified him. But then when we got to the doctor, and everything that the doctors had to say, just kind of like he was kind of dumbfounded. And I know he knows that my disorder is really bad, but I grin and bear a lot of it and try not to show a lot of the discomfort, pain, and stuff that I deal with. I think this was the first time that I was hurting so bad I didn't care who saw the pain. I was just hurting, and I just let it out, and it scared him. So he's and he's got Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and so when he gets stressed, it's not good for him either. So he's been super gimpy with his feet hurting. That's how his joints. That's how it projects in him. So he's had to call his specialist and um get some stuff called in to take to help so that he won't go into his own flare. And it's like, boy, we're just a match set. We both just can barely keep it together right now. But we are making healthy plans, steps, boundaries to not be here again, to not experience this again, and to make sure that we never allow our focus of our home to shift other than the sanctity of our sanctuary and what it means to us, and to not let anyone else ever abuse it or breach it. And then it's always where we come to be safe, and we're never going to allow it to be manipulated in this way again. And so we're talking and making sure that we take care of that, and we're gonna be much more vocal with each other when we see things that we need to voice. So, but I told him, I said I will wear the blame on him, because as much as he was like, I have a concern, I was like, no, it'll be okay. No, it's going to get better. I screwed up. I should have known better, have the education to know better, and I let hope go beyond just wisdom. I really let hope run, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have been more aware. So that was me. It was me. I should not have allowed so many concessions and excuses. I did. I started even offering excuses for someone. I never give excuses. And when they thought I was at a weak point, they launched, for whatever reason, this stupid attack, which is unfounded and stupid and almost killed me. Healthy people, don't take it for granted, because one day you may be sick. Sick people, speak up, because you get them healthy people that run around and think that they can just cause crap for everybody else. Well, I'm going to stir the pot. If you had to lick the spoon just once, you wouldn't do that. If you had to spend the last 10 days that I've had to spend, you would be like, I never want to inflict that kind of pain on anyone. So healthy people, don't take it for granted, because it's not always there. It's not always there at all. And people with disabilities and health issues, speak up. So, but well, I'm now exhausted, and I need a nap again. But it's mostly just the medicine, so don't worry about me. I'm fine. But I've had to make peace with the fact that I can't fix this. That's hard for me. But I've made peace with the fact that I can't fix this. It's not mine to fix. No one else wants it fixed, and I can't fix it. I can diagnose it, take it apart, find several ways that it could be improved, but unless everyone wants it improved, it will not improve. And if I'm the only one that wants it improved, it's dead in the water. So I can't fix this. And the only thing I can do is protect me and my home. It's the only two things that I have power over, me and my environment. And that's what I'm doing. And people can call me whatever names they want to. I don't care. I hope that everyone learns to control and positively control themselves and their environment, because those are the only two things you have. Take care of them. Make sure that they suit you and that you're happy with them, because it's all you got. So that's what I'm working on, is taking care of me and my environment, and just trying to get through this, and watching my health really, really close, getting through this holiday without busting out in tears, and hopefully in January getting through the heart stuff and seeing if I have any left over, like if there was any muscle damage, because that lactic acid can still have done permanent damage. And because my levels and everything's so off right now, it's guesswork. So we have to wait until my levels drop and everything baselines for a while, and then we can go in and start checking and seeing if things look off. So I have to stay as calm as possible, as happy as possible, and just not engage in anything that's going to, put me over the edge. So I guess I'm lucky I can talk myself through these things because of my education, and I've made peace with the fact that I can't fix it, but I can fix me and my home. So I will fix that, and I will be happy that I can fix that, and I will move forward. So beware who you let in your home. Beware who you let in your heart. And beware the power that you give other people because you think you can trust them. Because you never know what you are in that person's head. You never know what they've created you to be to fit their play in their head, their life, the role you need to fill for them, until you're put in a really bad position to find out that it's not what you think it is. So I never would have thought someone thought so low of me, especially when my entire life has been dedicated to helping people and improving other people's lives, and structuring people's lives, and helping them like come back into society and have a productive life, put the pieces back together. I never would have thought it possible somebody to find such fault in me personally, and how I've lived my life and how I've lived my life. And mostly it's because I really care about my interactions with other people. But I also at the same time understand that people need somewhere to lay blame. And a lot of people, that when they can't answer their own questions or they can't understand their own struggles, they make it someone else's, or they make it someone else's problem, or they make it someone else's issue. And it's just sad. It's just sad because I saw the potential for such happiness and growth and potential. I just saw a person that was going to blossom. And instead, she just kind of died on the vine. And I didn't know it until she tried to suck me down with her. So just be careful who you engage with. I've told you this 10,000 times. Be careful where you put your energy. Where you put your energy is a conduit. If you can give them energy, by God, they can take it from you. Make sure that when you do energetically link up with somebody, it's someone you can trust. And make sure that you're getting a return on your investment when you do energetically link up with someone. And make sure that your friends are friends. And if you have friends and your friends have other friends that you don't necessarily know, never triangulate. Never bring more people into the problem, because every time you add more people to the problem gets harder to solve. Always solve that problem when it's between two people, because once it gets 3, 4 and above, you're screwed. So all these things, I know them well, but I still got caught off guard. And part of that's my fault. But I'll clean it up. It's my home. I have to. I'll clean it up. Just be careful who you love. Be careful how much love you show, especially if you're not getting any in return. And sometimes when people are hugging you, they're probably measuring you for a straight jacket or a noose. Just kind of keep that in the back of your head. I figured that one out today. Because emotions are dangerous. And a lot of people think that whatever they're going through, you need to go through, regardless of how it may hurt you in a different way. They just want everyone to feel the pain. So if that person is watching this, I felt the pain. It was not necessary. You could have spoken to me and I would have felt the pain and it wouldn't have been near as bad. I still could have shared in whatever was going wrong and I still could have helped you. And it could have been a positive encounter instead of a negative one. But what I will say is that I'm not responsible for how you feel about me. That's your decision. You get to feel any way you want about me. It's all you. I am in charge if I allow you to use your feelings as ammunition against me. I am in charge of that. And I will say, I never walked behind a kicking mule twice. So there will not be another opportunity, chance. It will never, the floodgates will never open up for you to attempt to alter my life in any way ever again. And that is just because I'm good, I'm kind, I'm nice until I'm not. And then I'm done. And I hit done about 50 miles back. So I'm done. So learn from my stupidity, y'all. This is an emotional time of year, and sadly, it is a time when people know you are open emotionally and easily accessed and very susceptible. So be careful of people that are trying to bring you big issues during holidays, during family holidays, during high emotional times. Be careful of those people. They will have an ulterior motive. They have a plan. This is never the time to drop a bomb. And sadly, manipulative people use it because they know people's hearts are open at this time of year. But like I said, if somebody comes at you and they really want you to feel one specific emotion and it has to be the emotion they're feeling that they want you to feel, you run away from that person because they're not looking for you to feel an emotion. They're looking to control you. And if I'm nothing else, I'm a great cautionary tale. Don't repeat my misgivings. Be careful. Be kind. Be careful. And if you have to make allowances and concessions for people, do it once or twice. Don't do it for 2 or 3 years. That was my fault. I started making excuses. Never make excuses for people. If someone loves you and you love them, the one thing you should never do is make an excuse for them. Because if you're making an excuse for somebody, you are basically saying, I'm going to let you get out of jail free because of this thing that you did is wrong. I know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. I'm going to make an excuse for you. And that benefits no one and only makes the problem harder for them to handle the next time. And there will be a next time that they encounter it. So be good to yourself. Be good to others. Be honest. Don't ever fear standing up for yourself. And if you have to make a line in the sand, make it. And what it costs you emotionally or physically, it's a price you'll pay. But if you make the decision for all the right reasons and with hopefully the best intentions for everyone involved, that's all you can do. It's got to be better than someone who's trying to dictate your world to create negativity and not care about what happens. So I'm going to love from afar, keep up that boundary hedge, and hope that by removing myself and whatever instigation factor that I create, I remove this animosity, hopefully from their heart, and that they have a better life. But what I fear is that if I'm not the target, someone else will be. So that's where I am now. I don't know which is going to occur. We'll just have to wait and see. But I have hopes that things will improve if I'm not in the picture. But if I was not really the problem, then they'll just find a new target and do this all again. I guess we'll figure that out in due time. Okay, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I love yous. I've missed yous. I just needed to work on me, but you know something? I'm ready to start talking about things again and ready to try to get back at this in some way. May not be the funnest experience for a while, but we're going to get through it. And if I'm going to be learning something that I think is valuable to y'all, then I'm just going to make it a life lesson and share it with everybody, because I have no qualms about being the idiot that teaches y'all how not to screw up. I will be the perfect example. I'll even wear a dunce cap if you want me to. But if I screw up and I learn something very valuable, I really want to share it, because I don't want other people to feel like this. So I hope everybody else is having a good Christmas. I will, Denise. I actually sat down last night with pen and paper and was going to write you a Christmas letter, because I'm so far behind on everything and I've been so sick. But I'll email you. But I may sit down and do pen to paper and write you a Christmas letter too. I thought that would be more enjoyable for you. But we'll get through this. We'll get through this. Third Eye, appreciate you jumping in. Thanks everybody for hanging with me. Wisdom. I don't know if I call it wisdom. But we'll get through this. I'll get through this. I think I'm already through it. It's just, it's like, when they pave the road until it sets, it's done, but it's got to set. I'm at it's done. It's got to set. So that's where I am. And things will improve from here, So, I will, Denise. All right. Oh, I'm back. I think I need to watch a Christmas movie. I think me and Oscar may cuddle up and watch a Christmas movie. So, but on the good side, my health is perking up, and I do have a nurse, and don't know how that will mix with the lives and the timings. We'll see. I'm just really excited. I'm not going to be alone this winter when I'm having, because that's when I have a lot of my mobility issues and the struggle just to function. So I'm excited that I'm not going to be like left, with Kim as my emergency contact and praying nothing goes wrong. I'm really excited that I'm going to be taken care of. So that's a positive. Let's all end on a positive that I'm going to have good, constant, consistent, educated healthcare monitoring me this winter. And I'm excited about that. So, okay. It's nap time. I'm exhausted. I love you guys. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I won't. Depends on how I feel. But go check out DNL Trapping with Trapper Dave and Dave's last couple of videos. He's working hard, and he's had some rough spots in his trapping as well. He's got some predator that's stealing all of his beaver out of the traps. So he's lost a whole bunch of pelts and he needs those pelts. It's his money. And he's also kind of showing you how he looks at the world through kind of a different lens, being a trapper, and how he sees things that you might see on the side of the road that you think are disgraceful or disrespectful, what it says to him and the animals that benefit from things that you see on the sides of the roads that you don't want to see. But he's doing some good work, and I'm proud of him, and he's filming quite a bit. So go give Dave a like and a follow, and he's got lots more to come. He's really getting into this. He enjoys it. He's getting better at talking. He's still kind of a little backwards, but he's getting better at it. But he's really, really enjoying this, and it's for me, it's fun to watch him because he's so quiet, and a lot of people are like, how did you and this guy ever get married? He's so quiet and you're so talkative. And I'm like, he really does know how to communicate. He's really generally like the best man ever, and he's just a sweetie. He just looks evil. He's really sweet. I'm the mean one, but he's doing such good work, and people are seeing now the Dave that I saw when we dated, and that side of him that a lot of people around here did not know he had. And it's nice to see it come out and for other people to appreciate it and give him good feedback. So it's fun for me to watch my husband enjoy sharing something that he's so passionate about. And I know that he's struggled emotionally through all this crap too. He just handles it a lot better than me. Bless his heart. Um, but yeah, we would both benefit from prayers and good energy. So, but go and give him a follow and a like. And if you saw anything that you want to buy for Christmas that I've showed, message Hillbilly Furs on Facebook. And there's still stuff loaded in the Etsy store that can get shipped in time for Christmas. My quilt lately is finally back on the mend, and so the big peacock quilt that I had her reback should be done any day now. So I should be getting that and Jamie's quilt back, so I can get Jamie's quilt to her. And so things are finally seem to be moving after being stuck for a while. So that'd be a good distraction for me too. So we've got a lot coming down the pathway. Things are going to get moving again, and we've got stuff that's going to, I've got a couple of interviews that I had lined up that I'm going to push until after this really bad cold snap that's coming. I've got a blacksmith that's opening up his own forge, a younger man in this area that is kind of going into business for himself, and he's found a niche back in the old ways that are coming back to life. And then I wanted to interview my quilt lady because she is just old school country, great, like salt of the earth. I love her. And she's just been really sick too. So, but I've got some stuff I wanted to do, and I had some panels to do with Martin Speaks and JV. I can't remember. See, after the week and a half I've had, this is how my brain works. But I had some stuff going on that I was going to do, and we'll get to that as soon as I feel a little bit more with it, because I'm not near as quick-witted on this medicine as I need to be. So, but as soon as we know my heart's good and I can get off a lot of this other medicine and stuff, we'll bounce right back and be right back at it. And I've got a lot of things that I was excited about doing. I was getting motivated again, but that's okay. I'll get there again. My health, just y'all know, it comes and goes, but we'll get there. So, all right, Oscar needs to potty. I need to go to nap. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye.